Well, hello, folks. This is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the man cave. And yeah, believe it or not, you would never thunk it, right? Another plane. This time, obviously, it's the 1500 millimeter FMS P-47 Razorback. Now, I actually bought this off of Amazon because this thing is going anywhere from $425 to over $500, depending on where you find it. And I found it on Amazon for $379 from Hot Me Up. I think it's Hot Me Up RC, was one of the Amazon stores. They used to have an online store. I don't know if they still do, but they definitely have an Amazon store. Well, $379, and I've been wanting this thing for a long time. Of course, you know me, I've always wanted different planes. But I've been loving warbirds lately, and you know, I go back and forth between warbirds and jets and sport planes and sport jets and this, that, and the other. But I just said, you know what? That just really looks like a really great flying plane. I had the E-Flight P-47, the 1.2 meter, and flew the dog mess out of that. I ended up selling it at my club to one of the members. That initially was a Christmas present from Grandma Precious. Years ago, back when they still had the AR-636A sport receivers, and when that Bind and Fly was just a new thing just coming out, and that's the last P-47 that I had. I never had the Razorback, I never had the Arrows one. I have no other brand. And I'm said, you know what? I'm missing me a jug. I really wish I'd had me a good warbird jug, and that's what I got. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. So, found this one. And let's go ahead and take it out of the box and see what all we got going here. Of course, you know, the FMS, E-Flight, all these planes, they're boxed where you can take them off the back of a truck. You could drop them off the back of a truck, no problem. So, one thing I do suggest when you're opening up these, and this is not small by any means. Open up one end, and then open up the other end, and then push it out. It just makes, lots of times they're packed so tightly that there's a vacuum. And that, of course, was not the case for this one. But man, that is a big wing. Yeah, this is definitely not what you call a small plane. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Okay. All right. Get our handy dandy knife here. Doesn't look like we got two sides here, or two levels. So let's see what all... this is all your bits and bobs. Beautiful, very shiny cowl in front of the motor there. We'll have to put our props together. Probably the longest part of the entire process. Glue on guns. Okay. Nice big hard spinner. I like that. Look how shiny that is. It's shiny. It's very shiny. Very small screw count there. Of course, your 4-bladed prop. Okay. That's what it is. These cardboard pieces are what holds in the smaller debris, smaller detail. Okay, you got your big old gun pods. Okay. Oh wow! 2 wing spars. One is longer than the other, and then I'm going to assume this is a tail spar. Okay. Instruction manual that is not folded. I hate folded manuals. Oh, cool. Nice elevator with actual working hinges. No pinch hinge here. Ball link. That's nice. Yep, that's where that spar goes. Foam seems very, very dry, so I will be putting a clear coat on this, my mid-wax. Looks like the decals are already applied. So that's good. A little bit of a time saver there. Oh yeah, don't forget and check pockets like that, because see, there's a missile. Another missile. You're going to glue them on. I'll probably end up leaving the ordnance on. Okay. Another of your drop tank here, which is a very low slung drop tank, meant to be slide in and off. You see that railing system there, because you're probably very prone probably to catch it on the ground. All right, man, look how big that wheel's going to be. Oh, nice quick connect there. Oh, servo covers. Okay, now I think we had a pinch hinge here. All right, we got a pinch hinge here on the flap, and yes, there is laminate in there, but then we got a regular working mechanical hinge on the aileron. So, like that. Yeah, this is very dry foam, so it's probably been sitting in the box for quite a while. No defects that I can see. It looks really good. Really good. Okay, we'll say there's got to be another wing in here somewhere. Underneath. If you always check all these nooks and crannies. Actually, the wing is the fuselage is sandwiched between the two wings. Man, this is a big plane. I always say, where the heck am I going to put these planes? And I always find room somehow. But there's another one when I ask myself, where am I going to put this thing? I don't ever think about it until I got the plane. I'm like, oh, now where am I going to put it? All right, we'll get to the fuselage. Because that's always the main event. Get to that in just a minute. Just get to stand there and not fall down. Get our other wing out. Nice sandwich design here. Okay, you're gonna have to cut this part here out in order to get get the wing out. Well, that's noisy, isn't it? All right, and look how everything, you got little bits of foam protecting everything. All right, the other wing looks good. I think gluing the bits and bobs, the peripherals on, and putting the prop together are going to be the longest part of this plane. All right, let me get this, make sure I don't have anything stuck on the bottom side. Always look down in all these little nooks and crannies. Always check it out, because you never know what might be hidden in there. I couldn't tell you, there was a piece of, I think it was piece of motor or something one time, and it had a little bag of screws. You needed that bag of screws. Well, they were in a little white baggie wrapped in white foam inside, and you couldn't see it because it was perfectly camouflaged. You really there it is. You really had to look hard, and it was very easy to miss. And they don't tell you in the instructions, hey, check everything. They just assume you're going to do that. Man, this fuse is huge. You really cannot get a feel for this unless in person. And this sucker's huge. Plastic cowl there. Whoa. Look how thick the core is on that wing. I'm thinking this thing is going to... Oh, nice detailed pilot in there. The typical FMS warbird pilot. Okay. Let me see if we can get you to. He's got instrumentation and he got it all going on in there. All right. All right, let me grab this very used and abused plane stand here. Let's see if we can't look inside this thing. Obviously, that's the tape hatch. Look at that pilot. I know I just showed you, but I'm just impressed with that. Looks good. EC5 connector, because this is a big 6S bird. Reverse thrust. Why you wouldn't need a reverse thrust with this kind of a plane, but it does have reverse thrust. Big old battery compartment. The battery, see how it actually, it's got the typical FMS battery system, slide in tray in there, slides in at a deep angle, so she's going to be locked in place. Big old, I'm going to put probably a 4,000 or 5,000 in this. The 80 amp Predator ESC. So yeah, this is going to be actually a very easy build. Okay, the longest part is going to be putting the prop together and gluing on the bits and bobs. But all right, let's. That looks good. That really looks good. That's a big model. This is what, the Miss Bonnie? Bonnie? Yeah. All righty. Let's get everything together, get our materials together, and let's get to building this plane. Be right back. All righty, welcome back. We're now going to start the assembly process of the FMS 1500mm P-47. Now, you're going to need two tools to put this plane together. You're going to need a 2mm hex drive, okay? And then you're going to need a good quality Phillips head screwdriver. And that's the only tools you're going to be needing. All right. You're going to need a good glue. I suggest a good glue, like I like using this brand here for basically like foam tack, or you can use a good old-fashioned Chinese glue, whichever. Okay, that's to glue on some of the peripherals. Okay. And that's all you're really going to need. Of course, you'll need a receiver of choice. This does come with thrust reversing, so if you want to take advantage of thrust reversing, why, I don't know. But if you wanted to, you'll need a 7-channel receiver. I am not going to be using thrust reversing. This sucker's got some big old flaps, so I'm not going to be using that. Okay, so I'm going to be using a Spectrum AR631 receiver upgraded to the AS3X Plus, and I will be doing the AS3X Plus settings in this model. Okay, so let's change our camera views and we'll start building. First thing you're going to want to do, let's just go ahead and get our prop put together. Okay, you're going to grab this half of the prop. See the hexagon type shape? Now you got these little nuts that are the same shape. FBI calls that a clue. Okay, drop one down in there, put your finger on it. Okay, drop the other. Now the FMS oftentimes, you can see, will give you a little extra of everything. So we're going to put each one of these in there. Okay, or it looks like that now. Okay, I'm going to put my fingers on it, set that down. Okay, put that on the ground, or actually I'm going to put this down here where they all hold in place. Well, you know what? I may have messed that up. You know I did. I messed that up. But keep them handy, okay? And it looks like, it doesn't look like you get an extra one of these. But you're going to be using, see these bolts here? I'm using these. These are the shorter of the two bolts. Go ahead and take your wing, or your props. And see how you got the hole in there? See that little pin there? It's going to fit in there just like that. It's actually going to fit into place. Okay. Go ahead and get them all. Might have to set this down. Only going to fit on there one way. Okay. And you're going to take this, sandwich that on there. Okay. Might have to finagle it a little bit to get everything nice and in there. Okay. Hold that in place. Go ahead, put one of them nuts in. Put the nut, see how it's got two sides there? Okay. That rounder end that's facing you right now, drop that in face first to where the flat, don't drop it, to where the flat part, okay, where the flat part is now facing you. Keep your finger on it, okay, take your screw, okay, and that, because it's you'll feel it get grab, probably even see the end of the screw starting to come up through there, and that will pull. Yeah, look at that. It's tightening all that up. Pull that in place. All right, we're going to repeat the same process on all of these. All right. Once you're all done, okay, give a nice good tight. All right. This whole area should be flush. This is the part where the screw's in, and it's going to key on the front of the motor just like that. Okay. And then this just hand tightens right on there. Okay. That way you ain't got to worry. And then all your blades are bladed to where they're going to push air backwards. But we're not going to keep our prop on. Since this is so easy to take the prop on and off, we're going to just leave this off in the shop for right now. Okay, turn our attention to the tail feathers. Now the rudder, as you can see, is already hooked up for you. Ball link is already there. So all we got to do is worry about the tail feathers. Actually, I'm out of table here. Okay, if we're going to be going in from the top, let me move my camera. I'm going to grab both sides of your elevator, okay? As you can see, these two parts are going to key in together, okay? These are going to be on the bottom or facing down, okay? One thing I suggest, anytime you're going to be sliding both these halves into both these pockets, go ahead and take your fingers and just kind of squeeze that area down just a little bit, okay? Just kind of squeeze that area down, because that's going to make that key in there so much easier. Go ahead and tilt the, see what I'm doing? Because this is actually going to fit very tightly. Okay, there's actually, see the little channels that kind of fits in there? Fits in there, kind of nice. Put one aside. All right, you're going to see your the screws line up. While you're here, you're going to take 4 on 2 on each side of the little Phillips head looking screws that look like wood screws. That's where you're going to use your Phillips head screwdriver. Go ahead and drive them on in there. Okay. Now I'm working at a weird angle for me, but you can see it on camera. Very simple model to put together. You want that just to get nice and seated, nice and tight. You don't need to, it doesn't take much pressure to hold it in there, okay? Because you're going into a metal screw going into a plastic housing. Okay, so you don't need it to This isn't metal. Okay, this is metal screw going into a plastic housing. You just want nice and tight, okay, but not over tight. Once it bottoms out, stop right there, okay? Now, take this side, okay? You're going to take that wing spar, okay? Fish that through there. Let me get the model position back again. Hold, and then you might want to use a twisting motion, and it should have a stopping point as it goes through. There it is. Has a very obvious stopping point. Okay, again, squeeze this foam. See what I'm doing? I'm just kind of squeezing that foam a little bit so that it fits in there, and that pocket right there is so much easier. Okay, then the screws are going through this plastic section here. Line up on your spar. Pay attention to how the two halves key together. Okay. It's getting there. All right. See, obviously they keyed in. Should fit very tight in there. Okay. And the holes should line up. I'm crushing that in over there. All right. Go ahead and drop my screw there. I've already got an injury to the model already. You're not going to be able to see it. I'll show you here in just a second. But I'm going to show you a simple way to fix it. And actually a perfect opportunity to show how to fix it. All right, I'm going to get that bottomed out. Okay. Now this one's not wanting to line up all the way. There we go. Now that is in there. All right. Now, all right, how much did we lose? All right, I'm going to show you how to fix that. Can you see it right there? I'm going to take a heat gun. Now this is just a $40 heat gun I got off Amazon. You can see the crease. I'm going to put on the lowest setting. Okay, a little bit hotter than a hair dryer. All right. Now what I'm going to do at a distance, I'm going to keep my finger there, and I'm wanting just to heat that end of the foam up. The moment I start seeing gatoring, I've gotten too close to it. This does take a little while, but if you look, those creases are starting to disappear. Now it's not 100%, but it's a whole lot better. Okay? I wish I would have took a before and after photo. The key here is the distance. Remember, if it's too hot for your finger, too hot for the foam. All right, I'm starting to see gatoring. That's where I stop. But if you look, that crease is gone by 80% than what it was before. Now, be careful with your hot gun, your heat gun, because now the tip is like really hot. So that's just simple little fix. I just wish I'd taken a before and after picture. That would have been great. All right. So now that we've got that address, I'm not hooking up the elevator yet. I don't do that until I get the radio installed. Okay, now here we need to figure out which wing spar we're putting the wings on next. We've got to figure out which wing spar goes where. Okay, because we got two and they're of different lengths. Okay, of course, would you know, it doesn't say. It just says put two tubes in the fuselage, install the wings over the tube. Okay, so that just tells me that means that they're going to only fit a certain way, but it does show them coming out equally in the wings. So that means the pockets they go in, one's going to be deeper than the other. So I'm going to take the longer one and put it up front. Then I'm going to take the shorter one, put it in the rear. Well, maybe it's the other way around then. Nope, it is this. Okay, so the shorter one goes in the back, longer one goes in the front. Okay? You're going to need to take your very strong magnetic hatch off, because we're going to be attaching the wings from the inside. We'll switch camera views again. Quick connects are going to hook up. Get it to line up right. Okay. Want to hold the... All right, until it's flush. Turn your model around. And it holds in there by pressure. It ain't going anywhere. Grab your other wing. Okay. Get that lined up. Get that one lined up. Okay. And that should go in there nice and pretty. Okay. You're going to have a little bit of gap. All right. Now, you're going to take your 4 longer screws, and there's 4 obvious connection points. And that great big long screw is going all the way through. All right, you'll start seeing the plastic backing plate that it goes in through start to dip into the foam. You know you're tight enough. Same thing over here. You might need to hold the end of the wing with your body to make sure that screw lines up perfect. Has a very obvious stopping point. I mean, well, not obvious, but it starts getting really, really tight, and you start seeing that plastic form in around it. All right, you know you're there. Okay. Here I'm doing follow my crisscross pattern. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to try to make sure I hold this wing, not grab it by the control surface, but I'm grabbing it by the wing. Okay, and kind of pull that in just a little bit, just to make sure. Everything's lining up, and it is. Like I say, you'll start seeing this back, the plastic backing starting to dip into the foam. All right, that means you know you're good and tight. Hold that wing in place. Kind of push in a little bit. Using my muscles to hold it in. You gotta be a bit of a bodybuilder holding this stuff together, you know. Gotta be strong. All right. I know that's lined up. I'm starting to feel that resistance. Okay, the screw's disappearing down the little shaft. Starting to get strong resistance, and I'm starting to see that plastic starting to dent in. I know I'm there. All right. And let me show you what I mean by seeing that plastic, okay, denting in. See these hard plastic points here, right here? This section here is starting to dig into the foam. This right here is starting to dig into the foam, starting to dip down. That way I know that I'm there, okay? Okay. Now that is that. Wings are on. Okay, let's go ahead, turn our attention to our peripherals. That is a big model. That is much larger than what you think. All right, first things first, figure out where our antenna goes. More than likely, it goes right here, okay? There's an obvious slot, okay? It's going to go in to where the top of it fits level, okay? So when you put it in, this section up here is level with the rest of the model, okay? So let's go ahead and grab my Gorilla Clear Grip glue. Put me a little dab on either side here. Because it fits in there fairly loose. It's not going to be a friction deal. Okay. Then wipe off my excess. Okay, that's on there. Okay, now I'm going to take these guns. Now, I believe they're going to go like this with the longest gun be pointing out. Be towards the inside. Yeah, just like that. Okay? So, you know what? Let's make sure. I'm almost positive that's the way it's going to be, but I certainly don't want to tell you wrong. Yes, I'm correct. Okay. The longest guns go towards the inside. Okay. Put me a little bit of glue in there. I love this clear grip glue from Gorilla brand. Okay. Oh, except they're key. They're only going to fit. If they don't fit on there right the first way, you're on the wrong one. Okay, that's going to fit in there just like that. Okay, this is going to fit on there just like that. All right. And now we're going to turn our model over. Oh, that's a big old thing. It's a big boy. She's a big girl. The Bonnie. Miss Bonnie here. She's a big girl. All right. Take your tank. That's meant to slide on and off. I'm going to assume, nope, the tapered end goes towards the back. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. These guns, I don't see it. They're labeled. They look the same, but you see how they're keyed. Okay, they're only going to fit on there one way, but what goes on what side and what goes on the other side, I don't think it really matters. So they look like they're about the same length either way. So that's going to fit in there like that. Okay, now we got some more gluing. Now, these are going to go outside these guns. Okay, they're going to fit in here like this. They're kind of angled. So you see the bottom is angled. So it should be angled with the, see how this wing goes down this way and this is angled to where this fits this way. So this one's going to go on this side. Now, because I'm doing foam to foam, I'm going to score this up with my razor blade. Okay. Do the same thing to the bare foam. Okay. And I'm going to take this glue and put a nice bead of this clear grip Gorilla Glue in there. Okay. Put just a touch on this one. Set it down in there like so. It should get to where it lines up. Pull it apart for just a second, let a little bit of air get in there. And then I'm going to evenly press down on that tank. Okay. You'll feel how it kind of sits in there flush. Hold it for just a second. Okay. And that's how it should look. See how these guns and this are parallel. That's why I want to put this gun on first, because I want them to be parallel with each other. Okay. Because if you gotta let that just like that, and they should be running parallel this way with each other. That way you can look right down. If you got the wrong one, it's going to be leaning the wrong way. Okay, do the same thing. Let that score that up a little bit. You're not going crazy. You're just kind of cutting into the foam. Okay. Put me a little bead of glue. This clear grip glue in there. Okay, then put just a little bit on here. Okay. Then I'm going to kind of just let that go down in there for half a second. Pull out, get some strings, and get it back down in there again. Kind of hold it in place for just a little bit. Let my cap go back on there. That in place. Okay. All right. Now we got to figure out which wing the pitot tube goes in. All right. Since we got the model upside down, it's going to be on this end over here. Pitot tube is this thing here. Okay. It goes down this wing, showing it go in right in here. You're looking for a small indentation. This has a toothpick type into it, okay? And it's going to go with the fin part up, I believe. Yes, fin part goes up. I'm going to put it right here at the corner of where this Aviation stripe and the silver, I'm going to put it just off to the side in the silver. And I'm just going to poke it into the foam. I'm going to pull it back out. Okay. Now I've made myself a nice hole. Put me a little bit of that glue on there. Okay. And the reason I want to put on this side of the Aviation stripe, if I ever had to touch up the black, I won't have that in the way. All right, now we won't be hooking up the rudder, or the elevators, or the other control surfaces with the remaining ball links until I get the radio installed, because I want to make sure all my servos are centered first. All right, I'm just going to throw the prop on now just to show you, turn the model over. That way I can show you what the completed model looks like with the prop on. But like I say, I will not be leaving the prop on while it's in the shop. Now, hopefully the glue has set enough on those bombs to where it's not going to fall out. Okay, I have to be very careful. Grab my wing. Like I said, this is not a small model. by any stretch of the imagination. Alrighty. Well, folks, there you go. That concludes the unboxing and the basic build, not the setup, but the build assembly of the FMS P-47 1500 millimeter Razorback. All right. The next thing you'll be seeing this plane will be, I'll have it all, put the receiver installed. We'll go over the basic setup, and you'll be able to see the lights and the functions and how everything works. Now, actual settings and AS3X settings and all that will be covered in the maiden after the flight. And the reason for that is because I like to fly the plane and then say, here are the rates I just flew in. Here are the settings I just used. And that way it's proven. You just saw it in action. And that's why I like doing that. Alrighty, stay tuned. We'll be right back to show this thing all set up. Hold on. Well, hello. Just want to go over the plane real bit quick. I got it all put together. Yes, I do have the prop on, but the throttle cut is on. Just real quick, I mean, this sucker is huge. All right, let me activate the gear so you can see I mean, this thing is huge. Watch them gears close, the door's closed. All right. Watch the tail wheel back there.
The gear is coming down.
I mean, that sucker is big. All right. Like I said, I got throttle cut on. All right. Throttle cut is on. I know. All right. But this sucker is just such a big plane. All right. Go over how the control surfaces look. Okay. Elevator. Rudder. Okay.
Takeoff flaps. Landing flaps.
Okay.
Flaps up.
I mean, she's just a big honking plane. I can't, you really cannot appreciate how big this plane is until you get it in real person. I just mainly wanted you to show you what she looks like in the shop in all of her glory after she's all put together. One thing I did notice that is hopefully it won't be a problem, but the manual calls for a 5000 6S, but the two straps they give you will not go around any 5000 that I've got. They miss connecting by that much. So what I had to do, and I sure hope this won't be a problem, is strong magnets. Cause that battery sits down in there and kind of locks into place. Go ahead and unplug it. Oh man, is it like tight? The EC tight. Let me pull the battery out of the tray. Okay. What I did was, the straps are not long enough to go all the way around the battery, so I took both straps and combined them into one, okay, and hopefully, I mean, hopefully that will tighten that battery down enough to where it won't tighten up on me, or it won't loosen up, okay. But I've also got Velcro on and that's pretty well in there, okay. The other thing we need to go over, and I'm going to show you how I measure that. We're going to leave the prop off now. I mainly just wanted to show you the lights and everything and then the gear. But now I'm leaving that battery unhooked. Okay, and I'm going to try to look around the shop and see if I can find myself a longer strap. But that, you click down, now listen, You hear it click into place. To show you how I've got it, what I've got inside. I've already taken it out and done the Ranger test, but I've got an AR-631 with the antenna going around this way and taped into place. Got the throttle cable taped down. Got a little bit of cable management going on there with the other things, the other cables. Everything was labeled. I didn't have to do it. Very, very simple. But let's go over and measure CG, and I want to show you how I go about doing that. Okay? You got to have the prop on everything in order to do that because all the weight has to be there. All right. CG on the plane, I believe, if I remember, is 90 to 95 millimeters back from the leading edge root. Okay? Okay, yeah. 90 to 95 back from the leading edge of the wing. Okay? So, let's find my caliper. So, here we are. All right. Now, CG is 90 to 95 back from the leading edge root. All right. I like CG being on the bottom of the plane. So, what we're going to do, we're going to turn the model over. Like I said, the battery is not plugged in. This is a huge plane. This video does not give it justice of how big this plane is. This sucker is huge. And heavy. For a foam model, she's pretty heavy. Okay? All right, I'm going to take my caliper, and I'm going to set it to 95. Okay, which is my farthest one. Okay, I'm going to get Sharpie out, which I just had. Okay. And I'm going to press in. Well, would you know what? The wheels are going to be in the way. So there's no way I'm going to be able to mark this from the bottom, which is what I prefer. So we got to do it from the top. But that's just the way it is. Okay. Didn't think about that. But that's okay. It'll be a little bit easier for you to see the process anyways. All right, 90 to 95 from the leading edge root. All right, so there's 95. I'm going to take it, press in, then 90, take it, and press in. And now I've got two little marks. All right, there and there. Two little black marks. Now, if this is the bottom of the wing, I would actually write on there 90 to 95. But because it's the top of the wing, I'm not going to write on my model. I'm a bull in a china shop, and I just made two big dents by dropping that. All right, back to 90. Okay. Look at that. All right. I can't believe I just dropped that and did that. But, okay. Well, you know, hey, bull in a china shop. All right, well, there you go, folks. That is the FMS. Try not to step on that gun now. That is the FMS P-47 all put together. And the next time you see this plane, she'll be in the air. And hopefully I won't have a problem with that battery strap, because otherwise I'm going to have a sudden shift in CG and I'm going to have a very bad day. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. God bless y'all. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends, God is good, and P-47s. Bye, y'all.